Hi guys, this one's called The Jason and Art the Clown Connection. So in this one we're going to talk about the connection between Jason and Art the Clown. So let me start off by saying and explaining where we're going to start from. So we're going to explain this from the point of Jason Goes to Hell and from Art the Clown, Terrifier 3. Now, what I see going on in these two films is a similar ritual, and the way that they both start is where they have the cop in Terrifier 3 who becomes Art the Clown by getting his head chopped off, etc. And in Jason Goes to Hell, a guy that works inside the coroner office, he becomes Jason. Very similar but different similarities in both films. But at the end of the day, there's a ritual going on. The ritual here that's going on in both films is the Saturn ritual. Both rituals that happen are Saturn rituals to me. What is a Saturn ritual? Saturn ritual is a ritual that has a lot to do with time, obsession with time, going into the present and then going back into the past. Sometimes they don't do it throughout the entire film, but they do it in little subtle ways. That's one similarity there from both films, and it being them being both Saturn rituals. It's not a bad thing or a good thing. It just is what it is, and it's just it just ends up being a observation of mine that I've made. Uh, Again, for entertainment purposes only. Now, that's at the beginning of both films, and then once you go more into the films, what you do see is um, similarities in the story where both monsters are killed by a dagger. I see that, and that's not a bad thing or a good thing. It just is what it is, and also too, the director um, and creator of Terrifier, Damien. Um, I feel he was inspired by Jason Goes to Hell to make Terrifier 3, because again there's a lot of similarities there, but at the end of the day it is a Saturn ritual. And then another form of the Saturn ritual is they'll do a lot of things that have to do with Christmas time or Christmas, and for instance in Terrifier 3 they make Art the Clown into Santa Claus, where he takes the place of Santa Claus, which is almost like a reverse Jesus Christ story, where that plays into the Saturn ritual. The other part of the Saturn ritual in the Jason Goes to Hell movie is the number 8. You'll see a lot of number 8s. You also see a lot of reds. Not just talking about the gore, the blood, but you'll see a lot of reds. A lot of times in the film, and that does play out a bit in the Jason Goes to Hell as the number 8, especially on the dude with the glasses on his jacket. That dude with the glasses, he has on his jacket the number 8 on the shoulder, and you see them, with the camera point back at that to emphasize that the number 8. So that to me was a big time indication that that was, uh, you know, and is a Saturn ritual, because it has to do with a lot with the number 8. But going back to the other similarities of both films, going back to the dagger, I see that in both films, so that's another similarity that I see um, with both monsters, and then both monsters being demons. And they do touch on Jason about that, and they have, but when it comes to Art the Clown, it would be nice if they touched a little bit more on upon that. Um, because it is interesting, and it would be fantastic to get a little bit more backstory on him, and that would be awesome. And even on Jason, even with all the films out, it still would be awesome to just learn more. But again, that's what I see there in the connection with both monsters and both films is the connection with where how both films start with the sacrifice of the black man, and then they utilize that and run it through the film where the monster continues to be more strong. And I do see that, yeah, not just in these two films, but they do it in other films as well. And again, it's just the Saturn ritual, and then just the tying into the Christmas time. Well, which those slasher films and horror films are fantastic, by the way. Not to take anything away, those are fantastic. Silent Night and etc. All those fantastic Christmas time horror movies. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to talk about my observation and what I've seen in those two films because I stumbled upon it uh, by accident. It wasn't something that it was pre-planned or premeditated. It just was something that I noticed, and then I just decided to come here and talk about it and see what you guys think, if you guys see that. And again, it's not a good thing or a bad thing. Even if the creator and director Damon, um, was inspired by that, that's awesome too. Because at the end of the day, in the horror genre, and I see like in any other genre, people are using the past to be motivated to create new things for the future and the present. So, not to take away, we're all just being inspired by different things and different films, pretty much anything. So, thank you for listening. And, you know, if I see any other observations or any other details that, I didn't talk about here, then I'll come back and talk about it. But for right now, that's all I saw, especially in Jason Goes to Hell and Terrifier 3. And if you guys see anything as well that I didn't see, especially talking about these two films, that tie it to the Saturn ritual, or it ties it to something else that I don't even see, you know, uh, let me know in the comments. And, I just appreciate you guys' feedback. Let me know what you think. Bye.